Welcome back everyone, Houston Math Prep here. In our last video, we worked out some Riemann sums that were left-hand and right-hand sums. Here we're just going to, in this video, work out the same example as a midpoint sum. You can see here for this function that we're using in our example videos, this is nice, our function is decreasing, so we said that a left-hand sum was going to overestimate always for each rectangle, and a right-hand sum was going to underestimate the area for each rectangle. Here you can see, I think, for a midpoint sum, we get underestimate for some, but we get overestimate for some in each rectangle. And so that may help to balance out. Here we have underestimate, here we have overestimate for each one. Let's go ahead and look at finding our x values that we'll use to plug into the function. So think about on a number line, here we have the interval 1 to 5, and this is our function 1 over x. So this is x equals 1 here, and this is x equals 5. And that's my interval a to b. Remember how we went about finding delta x? Delta x, the width of each rectangle, was the width of the entire interval a to b divided by the number of rectangles that we were using. So in our other video as well, we were still using the interval 1 to 5, and n was 4. So we're going to get the same delta x here that we got in our last video, but you'll find that finding the x values is a bit different than before. So we'll still get that the width of each rectangle is 1. Remember, once you get your delta x, you'll need to start at the left side of your interval and count by that. And those will give you the boundary values for each rectangle. So if I start at 1 and I count by 1s, then I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with a midpoint sum, we want to be careful. Think about for this first rectangle, to find the height, I'm not finding the height based on x equals 1 or x equals 2. I'm finding it based on this midpoint here, the middle of the rectangle. So what we'll need to do once we have these boundary values for each rectangle is we'll need to go back and find the midpoint for each. So this would actually be 1.5. Over here we would have 2.5, so you can see we're going to be on the 0.5s, on the halves, for plugging in x values into our function. Now what we might do, I guess, if you want to call these fractions, it might be easier to plug into since our formula is 1 over x. So think about 1.5 is actually 3 halves, and 2.5 is actually 5 halves, and 3.5, that's actually x equals 7 halves, and our 4.5 would be 9 halves, right? So it might be easier, because think about 1 over x is really just a reciprocal function, right? So when we go and plug these values in, you could plug them in as these values, if it makes more sense based on how your formula looks. If you're going to type it all into a calculator anyway, it may not make a difference. Okay, so these are the x values we plug into our formula. So think about what's going to happen. So f of 3 halves, 1 over 3 halves would be 2/3, right? Just reciprocal. The height of our second rectangle, plugging in 5 halves for an x value, 1 over 5 halves would be 2 over 5. And we can just get reciprocal for each of these, right? So if we plug in 7 halves, we'll get 2 over 7. And plugging in 9 halves will give us 2 over 9. Okay, so that's plugging in all of our midpoint x values for each rectangle into our function, getting basically the y value, right? That's the height for each of our rectangles. So now we just take the width times each height, we add all those up, and that will give us our midpoint Riemann sum that approximates the area. So our area will be approximately, now our width is 1 for each rectangle, right? So that's not going to change anything, right? But 1 times 2/3, that's the area of our first rectangle, plus 1 times 2/5, that's the area of our second rectangle, 1 times 2/7, that's going to be the area of our third rectangle, and 1 times 2 over 9 will be the area of our last rectangle. If we get a common denominator for this, it's actually kind of a little bit of a large number there for the fraction. So we get 496 over 315. If we were to do that fraction style, as far as a decimal goes, we would get about 1.5746-ish. Because our function's a decreasing function, you'll notice if you go back and compare this to a left-hand sum and a right-hand sum, this will actually be in between both of those approximations, and this is actually a much better approximation. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us for this brief example on midpoint sums. Good luck on your Riemann sums. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.